what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2024 Honda Prologue. Below me is a completely electric drivetrain because this is Honda's first EV here in the United States. Now they do sell the Honda E overseas, but for us Yankees, this is our first taste at an EV from Honda. It's not even fully from Honda, so we'll get into that in a second. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpraedel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that all-electric drivetrain. Well, it's offered in two separate drivetrains. You can get a single-motor front-wheel drive Honda Prologue, or you can get the dual motor all-wheel drive. This is the all-wheel drive, and so I'll put up the range and horsepower of this drivetrain as well as the other if you want that option. Driving it does feel pretty standard with any other EV, and so now is a good point to talk about the fact that it does share a platform with the Blazer EV. This is actually a vehicle that was built with GM and Honda working together, which is a combination we haven't seen before. So this shares the platform with the EV Blazer, so if you want another competitor at a different price point, that would be a go-to, and I'll leave a link to my review of that at the end of this video. It drives great, visibility is really good, the dashboard is really long, as you'll see on camera. Acceleration is good, power is good, and it drives like an EV. A lot of EVs drive in a very similar way. Very appliancey, very car-ly. They don't really have much spirit, but as a to and from shuttle, this actually works really well. I find it easy to drive, which is always a big question. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. My speed is off to the left, and I have some other switchable gauges off to the right, and I like it. It's easy to read. The steering wheel blocks it a little bit, but obviously this is gonna change per your height. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have the cruise control options, and off to the right, we have our music, heated steering wheel, selectors, and page icon. This is all very standard GM, if you notice that from the EV Blazer. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent. We have our power parking brake sport mode, lane keep assist, auto holding brake, and gauge dimmer switch. And moving on to the door, we have 2 levels of memory seats, as well as the typical GM get out button, lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we get a big infotainment screen. It is touchscreen. It does offer Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And I really like the way that this is laid out. Again, this is GM's software, not Honda. However, I actually really like GM software, so I think that's a win-win for this cause as well. We do have some climate controls. We have ambient lighting, and we can check out our cameras. This is the camera system here on the Honda Prologue, in case you were curious. Down below, we have 2 climate control vents and the climate controls. Love the fact that these are physical climate controls, heated and ventilated seats, dual zone, fan speed, all of those goodies. Really love to see that. And we have 2 USB-Cs, a 12-volt outlet, a big flat cubby in the middle, and cup holders. So we'll do a big friggin' bottle test, but as we saw at the Chicago Auto Show earlier this year, the Honda Prologue passes the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do get a wireless charger and a center console. Nothing too crazy in there. The seats are heated, ventilated, power, and memory. Anything I could really want from a vehicle at this price point, the Honda Prologue will do. And I really enjoy it. I have enjoyed my time sitting in the Prologue. I think it's been comfortable, which I can't say about all EVs. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the Honda Prologue being blinded. Good Lord, I do say. We have a center console, 2 cup holders down here. We do have climate vents, 2 USB-C chargers, and a cubby, and I fit. Knees are not hitting the seat in front of me, head's not hitting the ceiling. I gotta put my glasses on, this is pretty bad. But I need to use the sunroof to mount the GoPro, so here we are. I actually really like the back seat. You know, the Blazer and Equinox EV also, I don't know why I said it like that, Equinox EV, they also had really good back seats. So really in this class, on this platform of these vehicles, you can't lose. You really can't lose in terms of rear seat space. Overall, nothing else to report. I like the fact that the 2-tone seats carry on back here, but let's hop into the very back and take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space. Another thing I really like is that it has a new Honda logo. Really like that. push button for the tailgate. On the Elite, you do get a power tailgate. And once we are back here, nothing really too crazy to write home about. This is the charger, and we do have some lights over here. The second row does go down, and we do get a 12-volt outlet right there, if I could show you. So pull this up. We do have some storage down here as well, so plenty of room in the back of the Honda Prologue. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I do like the look of the Honda Prologue. It does sort of have a Honda-y look. However, it still looks fresh, looks modern. It doesn't look like anything currently available. Even its platform mate, the Chevy Blazer, it doesn't quite look like that. So I'm happy to see that here in the Prologue. I also really like the color. I think Honda has had really good colors the last couple of years, so that carries on through here. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think finally driving the Honda Prologue? Well, I've really enjoyed my time with it. I like this car. I liked the EV Blazer as well, though, so it wasn't really a shock getting into this. But what I do want to talk about is the relationship between Honda and GM, something that I never would have thought. It's a Marvel versus Capcom crossover game, but for the streets. I think when we look back in 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now, we're going to look back on the 2020s and say, wow, that was a crazy time for EVs. We have tons of EV startups like Lucid and Rivian and now Tello. We have brands making deals. Hyundai just signed. Everyone's borrowing parts and battery packs. Mazda's hybrids come from Toyota. I mean, it's raining cats and dogs at this time. And now the GM-Honda relationship is supposedly over. After this, the Prologue and the ZDX, apparently it's done. So it's just fascinating to be living through this wild time of electric vehicles. And this is Exhibit A, much like the Honda Cross Tour that this kind of fills the void of. That came at a crazy time with crossovers. We didn't know if we wanted a car or SUV or what have you. This is now coming at a crazy time for EVs. It's built down in Mexico at a GM facility, and yet it's Honda, and yet it drives like a Honda, but it feels on the interior like a GM. It messes with my brain. And those are always the cars that are fun for me to film. I drive a lot of cars on the channel, and when one makes me scratch my head, I consider it a good day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Honda for letting me take out their Honda Prologue. This was one of my most anticipated vehicles to drive this year, and I appreciate Honda making it happen. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.